We may have different backgrounds, but we believe in the same dream that says this is a country where anything is possible, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from. That dream is why I can stand here before you tonight.
The American dream is that dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement.
The Dream Through Time.
They came from Europe to America to reform the Church of England. They are called Puritans because they wanted to purify the church. They achieved their dream, but at a cost, which is pointed out through The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne and The Crucible by Arthur Miller.
Hawthorne writes about Puritan society. He says, throughout them all, giving up her individuality, she would become the general symbol at which the preacher and the moralist might point, and in which they might vivify and embody their images of woman's frailty and sinful passion. Thus the young and pure would be taught to look at her, with the scarlet letter flaming on her breast, as the figure, the body, the reality of sin. Pearl and Hester did not have the opportunity for achievement in the Puritan society due to the stereotyping. The Scarlet Letter represents this stereotyping. People look at her with fear and disgust, which makes it impossible for her to live a normal life. This harms her dreams for her child and herself. Hawthorne shows the Puritan society's flaws, and how these flaws came in the way of people who wanted to have a richer and fuller life.
In a sense, the Puritans were the originator of the American dream. They stated that hard work leads to success and the possibility to achieve your dreams. For the Puritans, this meant a strict commitment to religious behavior. Arthur Miller, the author of The Crucible, shows the downfall of the American dream by mirroring the Salem witch trials to the Red Scare in the 1950s. In The Crucible, John Proctor, an honest man, worked hard and died for being honest and loyal while trying to take a stand against a corrupt society. The Crucible clearly shows the flaws in the Puritan American dream in the context of the Salem witch trials. It illustrates that a commitment to hard work does not exempt one from the accusation of witchcraft. Miller portrays how society has not changed between the time of the Puritans in the 1950s and how the American dream is still being impaired by society today.
Through The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the author Mark Twain shows how society prevents the African American class from achieving the American dream, because no matter how hard they work, they belong to their owners and are treated poorly by the racist white Southerners. Huck thinks it was 15 minutes before I could work myself up to go and humble myself to a nigger, but I done it, and I weren't ever sorry for it afterwards neither. I didn't do him no more mean tricks, and I know I wouldn't done that one if I'd knowed it would make him feel that way. In this quote, Mark Twain conveys how when Huck escapes society's grips, he realizes that African Americans are people too, and should be treated as white people are. Huck realizes that Jim has feelings and vows never to play a trick on him again, showing that he does not view Jim as a second-class citizen, and rather a friend. By giving up his fun of playing tricks on the Negro Jim and growing close to Jim, Huck furthers the cause of the American dream by giving Jim a chance at his own dream, being a free man. Through this novel, Mark Twain articulates how the American dream is growing because people like Huck Finn are having moral breakthroughs, and America as a whole is on the verge of correcting this wrong.
Through The Great Gatsby, F. Scott Fitzgerald shows how the American dream is corrupted by the rich because of how they achieve wealth through inheritance and/or illegal means. He juxtaposes this with their lavish lifestyles and the parties they attend to show the corruption and greed associated with the dream. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness. Tom and Daisy are careless people who use the money that they inherited to escape all the problems they face or create. For example, when Daisy ran over Myrtle, Tom's mistress, Tom and Daisy both escaped to a new place to avoid getting in trouble. This shows how the American dream is tainted and how the rich abuse it while hurting the common man. Rather than coming forward and admitting it was them driving, Daisy and Tom ultimately lead to the murder of Gatsby.
The danger and the glory and the choice rest finally in man. The test of his perfectibility is at hand. Having taken godlike power, we must seek in ourselves for the responsibility and the wisdom we once prayed some deity might have. Man himself has become our greatest hazard and our only hope.
In The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, Steinbeck demonstrates how the American dream is being taken away by institutions like the government, the bank, and men in power like landowners who exploit the migrants for cheap labor. Steinbeck also includes a hopeful tone in his dealings with the migrants by showing how they support each other through this disastrous time, especially through Ma Joad. Ma says, "It used to be if family was first. It ain't so now. It's anybody." Ultimately, Steinbeck shows how man is the problem and man is the solution for the American dream.
Through the things they carried, Tim O'Brien shows the draft's negative impacts. In the draft, people had a choice whether to abandon their morals and go to war, which would leave them with long-lasting effects like guilt and shame, or to follow their conscience and go to Canada to dodge the draft, all of which Tim O'Brien alludes to in his novel.
When I do think about Vietnam, it's pretty much that I think about, that choice. It's not Nam that I remember so much. It's the summer before going to Vietnam that I thought I was going to go crazy. I mean, what do? Get on a Greyhound bus and you're 21 years old and head for Canada? And it seemed worse than charging an enemy bunker. It seemed worse than putting a bullet to my head. It seemed worse than anything. And yet it felt like the right thing to do at the same time. And I couldn't summon the courage to get on that Greyhound or get in my car and head north.
During the Vietnam War, an estimated 200,000 people dodged the draft, while 1.7 million people went to war. By making people compromise their morality, the American government hurt the American dream for both the people who went to war and the people who decided to dodge the draft. In conclusion, the American dream has progressed through time. However, even today, it is not achievable for numerous people due to societal flaws, corruption, racism, class distinctions, and the government.